Hey guys, Hellraiser here. Hope everyone is doing well. Today I want to talk to you about this console here, the Nintendo Gamecube. This was released right around 25 years ago, and I love it. It has I think, of some of the best games that were ever made. But after 25 years, there's a problem, and you can see it on the screen. The dreaded error has occurred. Error. And that's because it stops reading disc. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation on the internet right now. A lot of people will tell you, all you have to do is tweak the laser. But that's not true. After 25 years, you can't just tweak the laser. So today I'm going to show you what we have to do. But first, I want to show you what it's doing. As you see, we have a game in here, Ratatouille. We'll turn it off and turn it back on. What it does is you can hear it. It tries to read the game, and then it just shuts off. The laser shuts off. There you go. You heard the click. So the laser is scanning. It can't see anything, and it shuts off. Why is it doing that? Well, most people will tell you the laser's gone bad. Well, okay, buy a new laser. The problem is that is not the actual problem. The laser right now costs $40 to $60 on eBay. You can't find them cheaper than that. And a lot of times if you put that new laser in, it still isn't going to work. Why? Because there's a deeper issue, and that is the capacitors on the DVD board. They have gone bad. After 25 years, all electrolytic capacitors are going to go bad. So what we need to do is we need to change out those electrolytic capacitors so that the laser can read correctly. Now, am I just saying this? Am I just making this up? No. Since I've been down here in Panama in the last 3 years, I have fixed around 40 to 50 GameCubes that weren't reading disc anymore. That's a lot. And of those, only 5 of them were not fixed by changing out the capacitors. Those 5 really did need new lasers also, but they also needed new capacitors. So I know what I'm talking about here. So let's take this apart, and then I'm going to get you onto my workstation here, and I'm going to show you what we're doing and how to do it. Okay, now that we have it apart, I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Now first I wanted to show you there's 2 different models. One of them has a connector on this side, and the one we just took out does not. So that will affect a little bit on how you're going to work on it and disassemble it. So I just wanted to show you that. So we'll put the other one aside. So what we're going to do for this one, there's 4 screws here. I already took those 4 screws out. So now what you want to do is you want to unplug this connector. Go. Move it to the side, and then we're going to pop this out carefully. And pull this off. Now, for those people that were telling you to adjust the laser, that's where you would adjust it. And on the first models of the GameCube, this was set at 450. So you would change it down to about 400 ohms, and sometimes that would work. And then for the second model, it was set at around 250, and you could change it as low as to 150, and sometimes that worked. My theory is the capacitors were already going bad, and when you lowered the resistance, then you allowed more electricity to go through the capacitors, which would in fact make their ohms go back up, their ohm reading go back up, so they would work effectively again. But that does not work anymore. So let's take this apart. There's a little tab over here. We're going to move it. I'm going to pull the board up, and then I'm going to very carefully lift this up right here. And you have to be careful. You don't want to stress that wire too much. There. And then we're just going to fold it over. Okay, so let me show you the capacitors. And what I usually do is I'll get the little metal cage that this sits on, and you see it's got the little connector here, and I'll put the connector right in there and then just set it on there. So then we can work on it. Okay, so now electrolytic capacitors, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And what you have is you have a 220 ohm here, there's a 100, a 100, a 100, and the rest are 47. So most people will replace these with electrolytic capacitors, but there's a nice guy on eBay, and his name is DreamX Master. DreamX Master, and I'll put a link to these on in the description below. But what he does is he sells these ceramic cap kits, and the ceramic are much easier to put on. They're non-polarized, so you can put them on either way. You don't have to worry about this side negative, this side positive. And also, they're not going to go bad like electrolytics. You put electrolytics on there, well, maybe they'll last 5 years, 10 years. Then the problems start again. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace all of these with electrolytic. And I have them laid out over here, as you see. And then when we take these off, we'll get the board ready and then put the new ones on. So let's get started. I'm going to have my hot air station on, and it's going to be a little loud, but we'll still talk through that. And I set my hot air station up right around 400, 425 degrees and about 50% air pressure. Now, one of the problems is when you take off these capacitors, you need to be aware, be careful of the connectors. You don't want to melt any of them. And also, sometimes when you're taking off electrolytics, they will pop. It scares you a little bit, but really it does no harm. You can't hurt yourself. But sometimes they will pop, and when they do pop, they smell like fish. It's very strange. So let's take these apart. Take these off. What I do is I kind of heat up an area just a little bit to get the board warmed up. And start working on the area. And you don't want to pull them up. You wait till they come off. And you hear this one might pop. There we go. That's the first one. Then I'll come in from this side and do these two. There's that one. And that one. And you want to move your air around a little bit, because you don't want the board bubbling. You don't want this layer coming up, because there's so many vias around here that if the board comes up, the via may disconnect. So you just want to move around a little bit and be patient. It'll come off. Now in this section, be a little careful. You want to make sure you pull straight up because there are a few components that are pretty close to this one and you can knock them off the board. And then the last one. There we go. Now I'm going to leave my hot air running because we're going to be using it again. But now we're going to come in with my soldering iron and we're going to tin. And we're going to tin these pads with leaded solder to make the job easier. And you don't have to put a lot on there, but you know, you want it to be a decent amount. And you might want to mark where each one goes. I've done so many now, I can do it in my sleep. I know that this is a 47, 47, 47, 100, 220, 100, 47, 100, 47, 47. But if you can't remember, go ahead and mark them. So I always start with the biggest one first. And then we'll get our hot air back out here. Now what you want to do is you want to grab it and place it right there. And then just let the solder flow it into place, moving just a little bit. And since the board is hot, it does not take long at all. That's it. Then we'll do the 3 100s. So one of them goes here. It's a little difficult to do this while filming because my camera gets in the way. That's it. And now we'll do the 47s. And I like to get them set sort of close to where they're going to go so that once I start working, I don't have to slow down. I like to do things quickly, get it done. That one's a little twisted. Let me straighten it out. I don't know why. Doesn't matter. There we go. It's as simple as that. Okay, now the board's hot, so I'm not going to grab it and try to put it back together. The cables, might, I don't think they'll melt, but there's no need to take a chance. So I'll let this cool down, and then when we come back, I'm going to show you it put back together basically, so you can see it's still the same board and everything. So I'll be right back. Okay, I have it back together now. Now, one thing you want to do before you reassemble, this is the second revision GameCube, so you want to go ahead and check the potentiometer and make sure that it's reading somewhere around 250. Now, because if people came in and adjusted it, they may have adjusted it wrong. It may be as low as 50, it may be up to 400, 500, 700. So you never know. So you want to check, make sure it's around 250. So let's see what this is on this one. It doesn't look like they've adjusted it. Okay, 283. So if for some reason we had a slight problem reading disk, like it read some and not others, then I might adjust that down to around 220. But we're going to leave it alone for now. I'm going to go ahead and get it back in the GameCube, and then I'll show you it working. Okay, I've put it back together just enough for you guys to see what it does when it's working. And I like to show people this because you can sometimes hear the noises better and watch the laser as it seeks. So then you don't even have to sit there and go, is it reading correctly? Is it not? There's a certain sound it makes when it winds up and it's ready to read the disc. It's pretty neat. So you see we got it set here. So what you have to do though is back here on the back, there's two little switches. So you hold those down and then that makes the disc spin, but let's restart it because I don't have a controller hooked up. Now listen to the noise. You heard it? Eee! That means it's going to read every time. And it always gives me such a thrill when it happens because you're never sure. Like, oh my goodness, I'm doing this video and it's not going to work. It's going to be the laser this time, or it's going to be the spindle motor won't turn this time. So it was really nice to show you guys this actually works. So guys, don't buy a new laser. Don't waste your money. Don't buy electrolytic capacitors. Buy from DreamX Master. And once again, I'll put the link in the description. They cost about $12 shipped. They do come from, I think, France. But it's worth it, guys. Support people that are doing this. And of course, you can make your own kit, but support people that are doing this. And if you buy more than one, he gives a discount and he combines shipping. So, okay, guys. Well, I appreciate you watching this video with me, and I hope that it helps some of you to be able to fix your GameCubes. And after 25 years, to be able to keep them running and keep gaming alive. Talk to you guys later. Have a great time. Talk to you guys later. Have a great night.